Yay Networks.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Spill the Beans podcast. You know what they say. If you want to go camping, just go camping when someone's slower than you for the bears.
Damn. Anyways, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing so well, and I hope you guys are ready for the freaking cheese tea that we have today, guys.
Damn.
We're going to talk about our mother-in-law horror stories. Just kidding. We don't have any.
Oh, you mean us?
Yeah, I said our mother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Thankfully, we don't have any. And you know what? Jonathan and I always talk about how blessed we are to have the mother-in-laws that we have and the family that we have. But some people aren't very blessed. And I say this because on TikTok, I see so many horror stories and it genuinely makes me upset. But it also makes me think, like, how are there ladies out there like that, you know? And it's crazy because my mom is older. She's 51. Is it 51? Yeah.
61.
She turned, my mom's going to kick your ass. She turned 51 this year, and his mom is younger. How old is your mom? 41. She'll be 41 this year.
Yeah, I think so.
Or
42. One of those two.
So we've had experiences with an older suegra and a younger suegra, and it's just like, I don't see where like the horror stories come from, because ever since we were dating, like I had a really good relationship with my suegra growing up. And you too, right? With my mom? Babe, please.
Just kidding. No. What was I going to say, babe? You freaking... Oh, I lost my idea. It was really good.
It must have not been that good if you lost it.
Oh, my God. It was so good. Okay, keep going. Keep talking. I'll come back to me.
So, because I wanted to see, like, what our actual mother-in-law horror stories
were.
Okay.
It comes back to
my
me.
God.
Okay, guys, look. Blanca and I are complete opposites. And look,
wow, you have to say that in every single podcast, babe?
No,
damn.
Sometimes you have to look at the positive and like compromise. Okay, a relationship is truly never going to be perfect. At least I don't think so. So do sometimes I wish that Blanca likes soccer? Yeah. Do sometimes I wish that Blanca liked chicken wings as much as I do? Yeah. Do I wish sometimes that Blanca just liked to go camping and fishing? Yeah. Do I sometimes wish Blanca wasn't such of a street girl, you know, like wanted to be out every single second of the day? Yeah.
For the
sometimes I wish Blanca, you know, just would be like me. Yeah. And I'm sure Blanca wishes that I would be like her too. And the moral of the story...
Sometimes I wish Jonathan would...
And the moral of the story is that, look, we struggle in that aspect. Blanca and I are complete opposites, but I would not trade it for the world, because we both have two loving families that love each other, like each other as in like my family loves Blanca, they love me, and they love our son and our dogs combined. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Even our lizard. So you just have to look at the positives and just run with it.
Oh. So what was your point? Your point was
my point of view is that no relationship,
that we struggle in not being like and not liking the same things per se, but we don't struggle elsewhere.
Like the que me sirve, like it would suck that if like, let's watch a soccer game tonight, babe, and you were there just as interested as me in Messi as I am in life, and then all of a sudden like, hey, my mom said that like she doesn't really fuck with you, like she hates you.
That's true.
You know, mm-hmm. I would be so much sadder. You know. But anyways, babe, go ahead. Ya me estás mirando con los ojos de
I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? Anyways, he just needed a vent, guys, letting you know that we are the complete opposites. And literally, babe, you say it in every podcast. Like, at this point, what are you trying to get from it?
I don't say that every podcast.
You do.
I feel like I say it in real life. Most of the times
when we talk about like relationship advice, you're like, Blanca and I are complete opposites, but I love her. Tell me not.
Okay, we talk about the same shit after freaking 300 episodes. You're bound to say something.
The same thing every episode, babe. Okay, anyway, so I went on Instagram and told you guys to send me your mother-in-law horror stories. And some of you are going crazy in the DMs, girl.
Oh my God.
Let me just show you. Well, not
What about some mother-in-law positive stories?
Yeah, I think that will be our next episode. But for now,
fairy tale stories.
Look at this. Wait, how do I... Anyways, can you see? They're very long.
And you just put that 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And that was probably sent 10 minutes ago. So she typed all that in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So she knew already.
Yeah, she knew.
She had that story
she's
ready.
been waiting for this moment. Okay, so I'm gonna start just with like the questions right here because they don't let you type that much, so it'll be a little bit faster, and then we'll head into the DMs. Okay, it says, I got some that said, no, girl, I love my mother-in-law, which is good for you, but it's not your time to shine right now. Right now, it's time to see what the toxic is. And literally, some people, too short, LOL. It won't let me type past 2 lines. But this one says, my mother-in-law told me her son is hers because he came out of her.
Yeah, that's weird.
I would say the same thing, girl. Just kidding.
Ew, babe. Guys, take all of this with a grain of salt because Blanca will be that mother-in-law.
No, I won't, babe. Shut up. Okay. Oh, this girl said not having one and seeing my husband not have his mother to watch our kids grow. That's a sad story. I wouldn't say it's a horror story.
Yeah.
This one says haven't been to her house because she's Christian and doesn't believe in gay marriage. That must be tough.
Oh my God. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing to talk about. I'm not gay. Or you're not gay. So
but that's yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's just the same. Like if your mother-in-law doesn't accept you as you are,
Yeah, I think like whether you're gay, I've heard horror stories of like, oh, because he has tattoos, because he's the really bad ones, like the racist one, oh, porque es negro, stuff like that. So, I feel bad out for you guys because a lot of these are drama based. Drama that you can fix. Mm-hmm. When someone is like truly like homophobic, racist, then that's a whole issue on its own, and that's more sad.
Yeah, I agree. Damn, this one says she supported her son bringing girls over when I was pregnant. Ooh,
oh my
girl. God. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. Damn, there's so many. Okay, babe, you can go and choose some. I'm like reading them. I'm like, how is this even possible? Like, how can a señora be like this,
She doesn't like me, acts so fake around me, send help. Okay, so let's diagnose this for a bit because, okay, since you guys know I'm team girl, you know who else is a girl? Your mother-in-law. So maybe I have to be on her side sometimes. No, just kidding. But what I'm trying to say is that no todos ustedes son muy santitas, okay? And the majority, my mom has always told me that one person that is always going to look out for the best of you and for your intentions and is never going to be biased in the sense of like, I think truly the only person that never wants to do you wrong intentionally is going to be your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And your parents in general. So I get that some suegras can be very like, oh, she doesn't like me, this and that and this and that. But it's like, why? Mm-hmm. Because I've heard stories where like, oh, my suegra didn't like me, but then he got a new girlfriend and he all loves her. So, okay, what's going on there? Obviously, la suegra wants the best for her son. So why doesn't she like you? Are you not the best?
Or it's also...
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, and it's also like, when you think about it, it's... Does she see... Well, I think that one thing that came to my mind when Jonathan was saying that is, how usually when people fight... and you go and talk to someone, you're obviously biased because you're telling them your side of the story. Yeah. So say like your husband, you fight, and then he goes and tells his mom like, oh, this and this and this, but only tells him like the reasons to make you look bad. Then that's your husband's fault and not your suegra's. But you don't know that, Like how do you know that she doesn't like you because your husband is telling her all your problems? Yeah.
So imagine this. You're dating this guy and all the little bumps and bruises and things in the road that you guys hit while you're dating. You don't know this, but maybe your chismoso ass husband is going and telling his mommy. And then when it's time to get married, to come in unison, have a kid, you start coming over more to your house. You find out she doesn't like you. It's not just because you as a person. It's maybe all these years of things your husband has told her.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously your husband's not going to be like, ay, ama, pues es que yo la regué primero. Stuff like that. So it's like really, there's a lot of factors that come into this. Okay, my suegra doesn't like me. Okay, why? Your suegras don't necessarily just... I mean, yeah, there's the weird ones that are like in love with their kids and stuff, but like they don't really just wake up and say, I fucking hate this little Mexican girl, Or
even there's some suegras that can be chingaqueditos, like just the way that they act can be make you feel like that.
I like to play both sides.
At the end of the day, though, what I do want to say is that if your suegra doesn't like you and you truly don't think that you have done anything for this, I would say to seek, if you're already married or if you are planning to marry this guy, to seek peace between you and her and to try to build a relationship, because I can attest to this. Like, your life, your marriage, and your family is so much happier when you get along with everybody.
Yeah.
I just cannot imagine, like literally right now, my suegros are in Mexico for like 2 weeks, and we're just sitting here like counting down the days till they get back so we can go hang out with them, you know, because we love being at their house. Like we love their cooking, we love, you know, like we have this routine of like going over and spending time with them. So it's like, if you only have that with one family, like what do you do when you're bored or when your family's out of town?
Yeah.
You know, and knowing that your suegros are like down the street, but you can't go visit them because you don't have a good relationship. So I would always say that, like, unless you've done something that you know she doesn't like you for, or she's done something that you know intentionally you don't like her for, then I understand. But if not, like, I would say kind of let go of your grudge, because older Hispanic women will hold more grudges, and they have different, they were raised differently.
You're literally telling them to give, like, surrender to them.
No, I'm not saying surrender, but I'm like, try to find the peace, you know, like at least para que se lleven bien. I'm not saying like
you're literally talking to Latina women on this podcast. Saying. You think they're gonna be like, pues ella me hizo primero. You think they're gonna apologize to her?
No, I just said that if you guys haven't done something to intentionally, like this girl that she's like, she acts fake around me because she doesn't like me. Like, how do you know that she doesn't like you? You know?
You're a girl, babe. You know when someone doesn't like you. Literally said, I think your aunt doesn't like me.
I said that.
Yeah, you said that.
You're such a freaking liar.
Which is like, whatever. We're past it. Blanca and my aunt love each other. But at the beginning, it was like, I think your aunt doesn't like me. It's like, why would you think that?
No, but I told you the reasons, babe. No te hagas.
Nah.
No, yeah. Let's get into it. Come on.
Let's talk about this one,
I will tell them.
I want to talk about this one because this one I think is so fucked up. Let's say because of her, I had to be induced. And with this comes...
What?
Induced.
But why because of her? Does she elaborate?
Because look, I'm about to tell you, babe. How is it possible that I know more about mother-in-laws than you? There's those mother-in-laws que están aferradas with being at their son's like labor. No me cabe en la mente. Like, it's your labor. It's your private parts out and exposed and you pushing. Why would a son ever be like, well, my mom really wants to be there. Like, we're going to have my mom there.
And I think that that's one of the biggest things that a lot of people agarran pleito con su suegra, but they don't understand that it's because the son isn't putting the boundaries, or the wife.
That's both their fault. Like, why is the suegra even asking that?
Yeah. But even then, like, if your mom was ever to ask you, oh, I really want to be in her birth, you'd be like, Mom,
why?
What the hell? But obviously your mom would never ask that, you know? No. But I'm saying that you would have already put that boundary.
It's
and
different.
There's this son that he's like, well, I'm not going to say no to my mom. Like, that's really mean.
That's weird.
You know?
That is so weird. When you don't have boundaries like that with your mom and you're a grown-ass man. That's weird.
I agree. I think that that has never sat right with me. Like, the fact that these suegras think that they're entitled to be in a labor and delivery room. For me, it's different because I'm like, I would probably have my suegra, but she's never asked, you know, and I don't think she ever would. But it's like, I think if I were like, oh, hey, do you want to be in my labor and delivery room? I'm sure she would want to. But because I get along with her, I trust her. I see her as an inspiration. Your mom's smart.
If the doctor were to pass out, she would probably grab the tools and do just as good job.
Literally, your mom would deliver my baby and it'd be perfect, you know? So it's like, when I think about that, like, if I were to ever ask her to be in it, it's because I feel comfortable and because I trust her and because I genuinely love her and want her to be a part of the experience, right? But I, like, in my place, she would never ask Jonathan. One, because my suegra is very smart and she knows how to set boundaries. And two, because she knows that Jonathan is very smart and he also knows how to set boundaries. But when you lack that in a marriage, that's different.
Yeah, guys, I think that's the worst thing you can do is marry someone that doesn't know how to set boundaries. Like, you think it's like this is where the devil gets you guys. You think like marriage is hard with like cheating, with like money spending habits, with things that are so cliche and movie like. No, it's the quiet, subtle things that like get you and that cause divorces. It's like the not setting boundaries that hurts a marriage time and time after again. And I'm so proud of Blanca and happy for her because at the beginning she didn't know how to set boundaries because she was younger. She was easily manipulated by emotions. She met me and I was like, hey, they're taking advantage of you. Like, this is not okay, you know? I taught her how to set boundaries and it improved our marriage by like 10x. I think so.
And even to this day, like, Jonathan and I still sit down and I tell him, like, I spilled the tea and then he's like, babe, literally, like, just say no. I'm like, that's true. You know, I think setting boundaries is one of the smartest things that you could do in your life with anybody, not just your suegros, like literally with your son, with your babies, with your kids. You have to set boundaries, you know?
Yeah.
Setting boundaries is healthy, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but at the end of the day, like, you have to tell your husband, literally, like, you got to set a boundary with your mom or your wife if you're a guy listening to this. She's our neighbor, and she swears she never gets in our relationship, but that's a lie. How would you feel about that, babe? Having our family as neighbors.
Oh, as neighbors?
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be like very good and then very bad. Very good, like, oh, I see manesco crudo and I know they made breakfast. Like, I can just walk over.
Yeah.
But then, like, say you have, like, I've heard recently stories of, like, suegros being too, like, involved in the marriage. And it's, like, it could be annoying because then you get those suegros that just show up to your house unannounced all the time. And, you know, but I think, again, boundaries. If you have a family with boundaries, then being neighbors would not be a problem.
Yeah.
It would be the best thing. You know, like, I still go over to my mom's family and I still knock. And they always tell me, like, ay, nomás pásale, like, nomás entra. I'm like, no, like, I want to knock. They knock at my house or whatever, because it's still, like, the respectful thing to do. Like, if they let me once just walk in their house unannounced, they wouldn't say nothing, but then it could escalate more and more and more. And it's like, boundaries. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
I don't have a particular story, but ever since having my baby, I feel like she doesn't trust me being a mom. She constantly tells me how to do things or how I should do them. And there's been a couple times she almost dropped my baby, and it freaks me out, so I don't trust her with my baby. She's a good person. I just hate how she says things sometimes. And also she just snatches my baby away from me. Whereas where my mom comes over, my mom helps me cook or clean and tells me to go take a nap with the baby. But my mother-in-law would never.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, like, both, like, she says that you don't take care of good of the baby, but then she almost dropped the baby. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. I think it's different because, well, when I remember when, I think this was like a month ago or 3 weeks ago, I was over at your mom's, and this was when Franco started, like, hitting. You know how babies go through a phase where their emotions are, like, so strong that they just resort to hitting, and then they think about it and they're like, oh shit, like, why did I do that? I remember being at his mom's and he, like, threw a little slap, and his mom literally told me, like, we were all sitting, like, eating breakfast, and he's like, don't ever let anybody let you feel bad for what your son is doing, because that just means that he's developing as he should be right now. Like, don't ever be mad or sad because he doesn't want someone to hold him, if he doesn't want to hug someone, if he doesn't want to kiss someone. Like, don't ever make anybody make you feel like you're not being a good mom. And, like, that is probably the first thing that she's told me that even comes close to her giving me advice on, like, how I not how I should be a mom, but, like, how to kind of parent my baby. Because, I mean, it's different when they're like, oh, it's because you should do this and you should do that. Your mom has never said that. She's always so, like, amazed with how we've raised Franco. So I don't know how I would deal with something like that, you know? Like, going over to your mom's house and her being like, oh my God, but it's because don't do that.
Sometimes I wish, babe, like, I wish I could, like, for one day, right? One day, be with someone that has a mom that nasty, just so I can, oh my God, like, I would have a blast going over. I'd be like, oh my God, I don't even want to be disrespectful right now, but like a nasty suegra like that, I would have a field trip of a day. Like, me agarraría del chongo bien chidote.
Oh, damn, babe.
You know, because I would be like, yo, what the, like, you know, because sometimes, guys, it's not all butterflies and rainbows. Sometimes I do have to have serious talks with Blanca's family, and I sit them down maturely and we talk our things out, you know. We're not disrespectful to each other, but we hash things out. Wouldn't you say? And
yeah, and I think it's because of the way that my parents were raised. Like, we always talk about this. Our parents probably didn't have the best parents growing up, and they are only doing their best, but it doesn't mean that because they're doing the best is that they're doing it the right way. Jonathan knows, like, he knows my whole life story. He knows how I grew up. He knows the traumas that I've gone through and that have been put on me because of my family. So we know how my family works and their way of thinking. So yeah, there's been times when we have to sit down, and because I never knew how to set boundaries, and I don't know how to talk to my family just like adults because my emotions get in the way. Yeah, we sit down and, like, Jonathan does the talking, you know. He's like, hey, like, he's never disrespected them, but they talk, and then my mom's like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I see where you're coming from, and then my mom gives her 2 cents, you know, and then that's how they talk things out. And I think that's how we've kept a healthy relationship with them.
And then we cry, she makes food, and we eat. Okay? It's just kidding. Okay, I like to share mine and remain anonymous, please. Of course, Jessica. Just kidding. My first pregnancy resulted in a miscarriage. My mother-in-law knew and never called/texted me to see how I was doing feeling after. My second pregnancy with now my 4-year-old boy, she never called to see how my labor and delivery went or to at least congratulate my baby boy. But she sure invited herself over to my home for a few days and without even asking me if I'm okay with having visitors. According to my husband, she was coming over to help. She did not. I did my own cooking and deep cleaning because no one would help me. With my third pregnancy of my now 1-year-old, I told my husband I would love to be alone with kids because this is probably my last baby and I wanted to soak it all in. My wishes were not respected and she uninvited by me came and stayed here for 1 week. Absolutely no help again. She only cooked for herself and my husband because I could not have pork, meat, spicy foods, and foods with a lot of condiments. I had to cook my own meals along with my 4-year-old's meals. Never said, let me help you. I did all the deep cleaning myself 4 weeks into postpartum. I hear amazing mother-in-law stories and it makes me so sad I don't have that. I can honestly say I never did anything to her. I no longer call her on her birthdays, Mother's Day, etc. due to her behaviors towards me, which is unfortunate.
That is so sad.
You know
man.
whose fault that is, girl? Not your mother-in-law's, not you, your husband's. That's the person to blame there. Why is he allowing her mom, his mom, to treat you like that? Like, se está haciendo el ciego, se está haciendo he just faces his face another way. Like, what's going on? Like, why would you like, I love Blanca so much that there's been times where, like, not that my family has ever disrespected you, right? But sometimes my family will do things or say things in the best interest of Blanca. But sometimes, and no one's perfect is what I'm trying to say. So sometimes my mom or my dad have said things like, I remember clearly, okay, I'm not going to give examples, but I'm just like, they have said something like in your best interest. You know, when someone says, hey, maybe you should do this. And it comes off like, kind of like, well, you don't want me to do this. And I could tell that one time that hurt my wife's feelings. And it was very like minimal, guys, like so small. And obviously my parents didn't mean it with bad intentions, but it hurt my wife's feelings. So what did I do? I lashed out. I told my family de todo. And I told him, like, if you ever want us to see us again, like, you have to respect this, this, and this. I set boundaries, and they have never brought it up again. So that was just with something that wasn't even, like, remotely bad. Yeah. So now I can't even imagine the things I would do if I saw my mom only cooking for herself or for me. If I saw my wife, my mom coming uninvited after my wife said no. Like, where do you find these, man? And why do you fall in love with them? You're not getting them from Amazon. You're getting them from Wish. That's all I can say. I
just think, well, in a sense, it's not just your husband's fault. It's also your mother-in-law's fault. Because at that point, it's like, okay, if you know that I can't eat pork or spicy or a lot of condiments, like, why wouldn't you just cook something that we all can eat collectively, you know? And that's, yeah, your husband could be telling, like, standing up to him and be like, hey, you know my wife can't eat this. She's postpartum. But it's also like, come on, la señora no está mensa tampoco, you know? So I think that there's a lot to do there, but the only way you can fix things like these, it's your husband literally telling him, my wife doesn't want people here for the first week. She already came over. Cool. She's there for an hour. You need to go home. You know, like, you can't stay here for a week. It does not make any sense to me because, one, it wouldn't happen to us, but two, neither I or Jonathan would allow that, you know?
Yeah.
Which is different because I feel like everybody's different. But for me, like, the day I got home, I was like, hey, who wants to come visit Blanca, you know? Because you love this baby so much. You just want people that love him to come visit him. And even like my mom, when she stayed with us when I was postpartum, she would literally cook them menudo on Sundays and then cook me something else on the side because I couldn't eat pork or chile, you know? So it's like, where do you find these ladies? You know, that's just, it's sad. And I do apologize, but it's like we always say, this comes where you have to talk to your husband and have him set boundaries with his mom.
Yeah. I just think, like, I know a lot of the comments, guys, that I come off like, what's that one word they always call me? Like egotistic or like self-centered. But I know a lot of you guys are older than me, but I do consider you guys like little sisters for me. So please, when you're starting to date a guy or getting to know him, you know that, like, I made this joke last podcast, like the 21 questions, you know, like, oh, are you a virgin? Like, what's your favorite color? One of the questions you girls need to start incorporating is like, Are you a mama's boy? What's your relationship with your mom? What's going on at home? Do you set boundaries with your mom? Like, let's ask these questions. You know what I mean? Like, let's normalize, because the last thing you want to do is, unfortunately, fall in love with this man and then come to find out that he has a monster-in-law, you know? Like, so let's normalize that, ladies. I don't care how young you are, how old you are.
I feel like when I started dating you, there weren't a lot of like, well, I guess se oye más ahorita monster-in-law horror stories, even though there's always been. But it's like at our time when we started dating, that wasn't like a question, you know, like, oh, how do you get along with your parents? Because it was different because we both had pretty good relationships with our parents. But it's like now that there's so much access to social media, to all these scary stories about like not even your family-in-law, but your how to choose your husband, like the red flags, all of this on TikTok, on Instagram, everything. It's like now, because everything's changing, now you're adding to these 21 questions and being like, well, how do you get along with your mom? What does she think about this? What are your views on this? And even like if you're literally dating and be like, so if we're gonna have a baby, like who would you want in the delivery room? You know, like that's just common now. Because I don't remember us ever talking about that, right? It was just like,
because
do you want
it
kids?
was common sense. Like, I just like I imagine myself. I'm a man, so I imagine the extreme. Así abiertote con mis piernas and my privates just hanging. I'm like, would I want her mom there staring at me? No, you know, like I wouldn't even want my own mom, you know. But that's just me talking as a man, you know.
Yeah.
But obviously, thankful that Blanca has a good relationship, that she would want, you know, one day maybe my mom or something if she needed her or something like that.
Yeah.
She's comfortable with her.
Yeah. This one says, I made my man put up boundaries with his mom, and because of that, she didn't show up to our son's gender reveal or baby shower, but went to her other daughter-in-law's. What's funny is she had the audacity to call my child a crybaby when she doesn't even make an effort to call or visit. But the reason she doesn't like me is because I made him put up boundaries. She kept wanting him to co-sign on things, and she wouldn't pay for her things, screwing up his credit. So sorry, not sorry. Our little family will come before anything.
Perfect.
And who cares, girl? If she doesn't like you, and because you had your man put up boundaries, and because you told your man not to co-sign on things that you know she's not going to pay for, you should be living your life freely and
guys,
happy. And
really
peace.
off topic. I was like literally probably like 8 when I heard this advice. I didn't even know what credit was, but my oldest, my mom's older sister, she's like super. She's just very well like sophisticated, and she's like financially smart. Like she knows a lot about credit. She opened my first bank account when I was like 8 years old, and I started like gaining interest and points and really good things, right? And she told me one day, or told my parents, because I think this happened to them. She's like, whatever you do, never let someone borrow your credit or co-sign for them if you don't like. Never do it. And then my parents went, and my dad, he had this friend at the time. We were like, I was little. This was a long time ago. He co-signed for his friend. He's like, ándale, like, quiero agarrar esta troca. My dad's like, okay, we've been friends for like since childhood. I'll co-sign for you, you know, and stuff like that. And sure enough, the guy couldn't pay the truck, and that damaged my dad's credit really, really, really bad because it got repoed and all this stuff. And the friend todavía se hizo el enojado and stopped talking to my dad and stuff. So all I can say is I've always used that advice. Literally, we do not borrow or like co-sign for anything in my family. The only people that I have done it for is me and my mom, me and my dad. And like I wouldn't even I was gonna say best friend, but my 2 best friends are Marco and Luis, and they're very well off and responsible, so I would let them. But let's just say I had a normal best friend, and he was just like whatever. I would not even if my best friend asked for it, you know, I would let someone borrow my credit. So that is a rule in life, guys. Never do that, okay? That's totally off topic for mother-in-law, but I just had to say it.
Okay, this one says maybe and she sent one, but she said maybe this one's better because my husband caught her, lol. So unfortunately, I lost my baby this year. Obviously, for Mother's Day, I did not want to do anything. So I stayed in my room, cried all day. Mind you, we lived with them, and she never came to say Happy Mother's Day or anything like that. Or anything like, I'm sorry, this day must be so hard. She was mad all day at me and got... What the hell, girl? Sorry. I'm trying to read this and there's no points. But anyways, she was mad all day. Me and her got into an argument before I moved out, and she wanted her son to spend the day with her. And my husband quickly told her that day my wife needed me is not about you anymore. I love you and all, but my wife comes first. She just lost our child, and that day was hard on her. You just saw anger on her eyes. So she wants to be put first, basically.
Ew, those pick-me mother-in-laws. I feel like there's a lot of different... It's like a video game.
The pick-me?
You got the nasty ones. You got the don't know boundaries ones. And then this one is the pick-me one.
Yeah. Even though you're going through something bad.
Pick-me one. But yeah, that's kind of the worst because she wants to be put before... Like, she wants still to be her son's center of attention, which is Iggy.
Oh my God, this one says, my mother-in-law hit me because she thought I was going to hit her son, which I wasn't.
That's a whole different level. I don't know what you call those mother-in-laws. The karates. Just kidding.
Karate.
No, that's weird.
What would you do if like your mom went to hit me?
I don't know.
That's so
Help her.
crazy to think about.
Jump you. Just kidding. No, but
Babe, shut up for reals.
I don't know. That's weird. Like, what? Is she like not okay?
I don't think so. This one says my ex mother-in-law would steal my clothes to the point where she even stole my underwear.
Oh,
she was
maybe
doing
te está haciendo
brujería.
brujería.
Yeah, agua de calzón.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Oh.
Imagine. This is why I advise you guys. Unless you're trying to save up for a house or do a big purchase and you have to live with your parents-in-laws, if you don't get out of there as soon as possible, I guarantee you your relationship will get stronger and better after you move out, and shit like that won't happen.
Do you want to hear this one?
No.
Girl, de aquí soy. She lied to my boyfriend and myself that she had cancer for us to feel bad.
No way.
That is another level, girl.
I think that's still the pick-me one.
She started to hang out with some girl my man used to talk to right before he met me. Oof. I would say peace out, girly. She competes with me, but not to get her son's attention, but for other reasons. I think those are also pick-me's, don't you think, babe?
No, I like the hitting one is like, imagine you raise this boy and it's like you love him so much, and like Franquito, we look at him and he's like our bundle of joy, the thing we love the most in the world, y viene una desgreñada a pegarle. Wouldn't you be mad? Like, not to the point where you hit her, but like I'm trying to like see, like, you know, if she's not mentally ill, like why would this suegra hit? But it's like, imagine you're raising this and you love him so much and he's a good son, y ves a esta, de seguro la vio toda desnutrida, malandra, a pegarle a tu bebé, you know, like.
Where do you come up with these names?
I'm just trying to be like not that disrespectful, but you know what I mean. Like, it's gonna hit your baby, and you're like, no, you don't hit my baby, you know.
Shit, maybe.
It's not like I love my son, weird vibes, but it's like he's my little baby. And I heard this the other day. The number one, like, it was this dad telling his kid, like, I don't care how drunk you are, how mad you think I'm gonna be, call me to pick you up so you don't drive drunk. And I guess the way the kid made his point, the dad made his point across with the kid is, my only job in this world, and you need to understand that it's my job, just like you wouldn't, like, say I was a mailman and I had to go in at 5, just like you wouldn't let me not go in at 5 or else I'll get fired because it's my job.
Yeah.
It's my job in this world to keep you safe. You know what I mean? Because it's your responsibility. You're gonna vas a hacer cuentas con Dios un día. Did you keep your son safe? No, you know. Yeah. So it's like by you not allowing me to keep you safe, by you not calling me and risking drunk driving, you're not allowing me to do my job. Yeah. So maybe the mom is like, my only job in this world is to keep my son safe, and you're gonna come hit him.
Yeah. I think that's true. Like, if you think about someone hitting Franco, oof, girl, I don't care who you are, I'm gonna hit you right back if he's not doing, you know. But like, I want to know the backstory, like what escalated. No, yeah, I'm
to sure el muchacho anda de cabrón, or like maybe, you know. But if I truly know my son and I know he's a good kid, you know, he's talked to me, you know, because you can tell when a son's a good kid. Like, hey, they're more emotional. They're like, hey, you know, Brittany just dumped me and I feel really sad. You know that he's most likely not hitting people out here, you know?
Yeah. This one says, my mother-in-law walked in on us and played tug of war with us to check for a condom.
No, that's lying. That's now you're just sending lies.
This one says, when she first met me, she told her son in front of me que si no había una más bonita.
That's some novela shit.
Yeah, like I don't know. I need proof, girl, because that's crazy. Don't you think?
But maybe there's like, you know how there's some really funny ones?
Babe, if
the funny mother-in-law.
That's not funny.
Like, you don't think there's some funny ones? Like, Yeah, I'm gonna pull that joke. The if Franco brings a girl, I'll be like, "Oh, were you the one that was here last week?"
Oh my god, babe.
But then obviously I'll be like, I'm kidding. Like, nice to
no,
meet
and
you.
then you're gonna start problems with them.
But
they're gonna go downstairs, watch a movie. So who did you bring last week?
But it's funny
Funny to who?
to me.
I'm
I'm gonna be a cool father-in-law.
I guess a lot of people say that their suegras don't let them parent the way they want to parent. And it's like, I understand if you're like, if you live with them, how that would be hard. But it's like, if your suegras are going to be talking shit about how you parent, I would just not go over to their house.
Yeah.
Right?
But, I mean, look, babe, look, I'm going to talk to you about something.
Okay.
I feel like we are trying to give advice to our best of our ability. But remember what I've told you is that I don't like to give advice when we haven't gone through something.
Yeah.
And even though we've gone through, like, you know, we have mother-in-laws, but we're not, like, you're not a mother-in-law yet. So you can't give your full advice. So what am I trying to say? Let's say Franco grows up and he has a son or a daughter with another girl, with our nuera or whatever. And you see that the nuera constantly has little Panchito. Let's say Franco names his son Panchito. Con mocos. Con el pamper bien lleno de caca y miado. Siempre lo trae. Despeinado. You see that on Franco's story. She's like, oh, my wife gave Panchito hot Cheetos for breakfast. That's so funny. Like, wouldn't you want to say something to Franco like, hey, like, you're not raising this baby, okay? And that's abuse. Oh, that's what I'm trying to say for the mother-in-laws, you know? Because I always like to play devil's advocate and look at the other side for the suegras.
But like at that point, wouldn't you just pull Franco aside and be like, hey, why are you letting your wife do this with your baby? Like, don't you see that that's
girl,
bad?
let's name her Ashley, is Franco's, you know, baby mama. Then she's the one sending in those DMs saying, my suegra is always telling my husband Franco how to parent.
Yeah.
Ooh. Got him. You're not slick. Just kidding, guys. That's obviously not what's happening here. I'm hope.
But it's like in that scenario, like if that's what was happening, I understand. But I feel like if my mom sees me doing something with Franco, which I don't feel like she's ever given me parenting advice, has she?
Your mom?
Yeah.
Every day?
Babe, shut up. Like what?
You're like, Yulisa, no tienes que hacer esto.
Babe,
but she does it in a good way.
You can't
in a good
come
way.
up with an example.
In a good way.
Give me an example.
Oh, because, no, it's not parenting, but like, say we go on the stroll to the park and Franco falls and scratches his knee. She's like, Yulisa, lo tienes que cuidar más.
Oh, see, I understand that. Like, that's obvious because Franco literally fell and scratched his knee.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's mother-in-laws that say obvious things, but to them, it's like, no, let me. I believe in scratching because it makes them tougher.
You do.
No.
Well, yeah, when it comes to that, but it's like, I don't even know. Like, what am I trying to say here?
Like, if I was a dick, I could be like, I don't want your mom telling Franco or you to, it's okay, it's bad to scratch. He needs to be a man and toughen up.
Yeah.
You know? That's bad. I mean, that's what maybe is going on here.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. I just hope that the people sending these in, the girls, that's not the case. You guys are being truthful and honest because no one on the internet ever lies, right? Especially not our followers and subscribers, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say, okay?
Yeah, and that's why I say, like, if you're already married to this guy or if you are thinking about marrying him, like, I know that there's that saying, it's like, you don't have to marry the family, like, you just marry the person. But that's why I'm saying, like, just try. I'm not saying, okay, if your mother-in-law is actually evil and, like, she does things to make you feel bad or you guys just don't get along, I understand that. But it's like, if there's kind of, you know, where moms get a little jealous that their son is like dating this girl and that he's never home and that they're always at the suegro's house, you know, and maybe the mother-in-law feels some type of way towards that and like gets quiet when they come over, you know, like sad. It's like there's ways to get around that, you know, and ways to have a good relationship with the family because that's an investment. Like, you're gonna be their family forever. So it's like, what if Franco gets married, right? And then we're not cool with your parents or my parents. That would be so weird. Because what if Franco loves both of his grandparents, but they can't even be together in the same room? So it's like, that's why I say if there's a way to work on the relationship, that would be great. But it's like, if you start dating someone and they're already showing signs that they don't get along with their mom or that the mom is mean to like previous girlfriends or she's already giving you like red flags, like at the end of the day, you have to look at that too. you know.
Yeah, but I also think it's like mother-in-laws also need to see the positive in that. Let's say that your son is mother-in-laws build resentment towards the girlfriends because the son is just spending all day, all holidays at the girl's house. As a mother-in-law or as a father-in-law one day that I might be, and I see that, and that's going on with Franco, yes, I'm gonna be sad.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that means that another family loves, appreciates the company of my son as much as I do.
Yeah.
Why? He's over there every holiday, every day. That means that her family loves him, right? He wouldn't be there nomás ahí de amargado and stuff without his own will.
Yeah.
So that's what my mom told me one day, that like, oh, you know, I moved out and maybe they don't see me as often, but she knows that Margarita and Jose loved me as much, you know, as a son now, and that they're happy for that.
Yeah. And they care for you.
And I think that's where mother-in-laws and father-in-laws have to check themselves and be like, you know what, he's not coming as much. But in a way, that's a good thing because he gained a second family.
Yeah. Or appreciate the times that they do come even more. You know, instead of being there like all sad because he doesn't ever come, like the day that they do come over, be like, oh, you know, like, let's have a great day. And even though you only come once a month, you know.
That's a challenge I look forward to, babe. Like, because, you know, when you have a son, it's like the stereotype that he's always going to be with her family, right?
Yeah.
And we get already sad thinking about that. But it's like, that's a challenge I'm willing to take and be so freaking cool. The coolest father-in-law, the coolest dad, the coolest everything, for them to be like, this is the first time in history where they spend more time at the dad's side of the family.
Yeah.
And he's not a mama's boy type thing.
Yeah. Because sometimes I feel like people that do spend more time at like on their dad's side of the family is because their mom's side of the family is toxic. But that's not even that common, you know? Like the stereotype is, like we're never at our dad's side of the family. So it was so funny when we found out we were having a boy. I was like, oh, damn it, we're gonna be dad's side of the family. And like we are already growing up with that stereotype, you know, that we might not be cool. So now we have to work extra hard to be the cool parents.
The odds are stacked against us.
They really are. And that's why I told Jonathan, I was like, fuck, like now we really need a girl because Franco's
But I'm gonna have a boat in the water slide and they're gonna be like, let's go over your dad's.
Oh, I hope so. That would be so nice.
Yeah. All right, guys, I think we're gonna cut this podcast a little bit shorter just because it's 99 degrees outside and you guys haven't drank water and I want you to go drink water, okay?
Cut the fucking cameras, babe. Don't say that. Just say we're done.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video and listening. Yet another week, babe. You know what? We started this podcast and I said 300 something. I wonder what giveaway.
Oh, okay, jingle.
$100 to whoever comments how many podcasts, including this one, there are on Spill the Beans.
What?
$100.
Can I put something?
Because I used to put the number on the thumbnail, but I think I stopped after like 40.
Yeah.
And that was like 2 years ago, 3. So $100 to the first person that comments the number. Obviously, after this podcast, I'm gonna go and count them myself just so the number's accurate. But yeah, 100 buckaroons. Guys, make sure you have Cash App because I've been trying to get hacked on Venmo, Cash App or Zelle. We don't have Venmo. Well, I don't because I keep trying to get hacked. So I'm scared to log in and send people money through there.
You keep trying to get hacked
Yeah.
for people to keep trying to hack you. You're saying it like you want to get hacked.
I keep trying to get hacked.
Do you understand the way you're
hacked.
saying that? I keep trying to get hacked. Like I keep trying to build this thing and it's not working out. People keep trying to hack my Venmo account.
I keep trying to get hacked.
Or
I see what you mean, but mine works too. People keep trying to hack me.
Yeah, I keep trying to get hacked. That's like you're trying to get hacked. You keep trying to get
Whoa,
hacked.
babe, you just mind blew me. I've always said that. I keep trying to get this thing to work.
Yeah. Do you understand
Yeah,
how?
I keep trying to do my laundry.
Yeah. I keep trying to get hacked. You're trying to get hacked? Or people keep trying to hack you?
I keep trying. They keep, oh, fuck. I know you're right, but that hurts my head. No, my way makes sense. Someone please, an English teacher. English teacher, please be like,
babe, that's
that makes
you
sense.
trying to get hacked.
I understand, but if I wanted to say, I keep trying to hack myself. That's what that you would want to mean. And not a milli. Okay, guys. Yeah, comment how many episodes there have been and 100 buckaroons.
And if you have a nice mother-in-law, tell us their stories down below, girl, because we need to lighten
Let's
up the
flood
mood.
the comments with good mother-in-laws.
Yeah,
Okay.
and put a picture of her too.
Imagine.
Imagine you could post one. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to our podcast today. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day at work and hopefully not at school because people aren't back at school yet. But this is the month where you go back to school, so I apologize for that. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
This isn't the month.
Yes, it is August.
July 31st. Oh, no, yeah. Never mind. Later.
Yay Networks.